I am Groot. Sorry, couldn't help it. That's right. Because of showing off this prop that we were lucky enough to get at Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2, we're going to talk about Baywatch today. No, I'm just kidding. Deviant D, Lights and Entertainment, hope you are doing well. I know this is a little late. Sorry, school's been kicking my arse lately. Excuse me. Talk a little bit about Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2. Easily the most profitable, popular film of the summer thus far. And I'll have to be honest, like, this summer is starting off a lot like last summer. Kind of weak. But Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2. Huge fan of the first one. I've talked about that before. So I was really excited for this second one because we still had James Gunn as the same writer and director. Even though he technically co-wrote part one, it was mostly him. Volume 2. Was it good or not? Yeah, it was. The easiest way I described it to somebody was, yes, it doesn't feel as fresh and unique as, 3 years ago when the first one came out in 2014. But let's be honest, this is number 15, I believe, in the MCU, the Marvel Cinematic Universe. So, to do something fresh and original after you're 15 movies deep in less than a decade, it's kind of hard to do, but I think James Gunn succeeded. What I was about to say was, I liked the movie. I really liked it. It's really funny. That being said, is it as good or even as par with part one? I don't know. I would still have to say part one was better, but that's not to shit on the sequel. The sequel is really good. It's a lot of fun, like I said before. Baby Groot. Baby freaking Groot. This thing's too adorable to throw away. Gotta keep it. Baby Groot was awesome. One thing that stood out to me, I love all the Guardians, all the characters. I thought James Gunn did him justice. These C-level characters in the Marvel comic book universe all of a sudden became A-list properties due to the fact of the creative people they chose to put behind it. And I'll say it, the actors and actresses they cast to play the roles. Without a doubt, I felt the all-star of this film was Drax. And it's kind of fun. I dug Bautista Bomb as Drax in the first one. But in this one, man, he just stole the fucking show. He was so funny. And, it's hard to be the funniest one in the group when, you're competing with the voice of Bradley Cooper, when you're competing with Chris Pratt, who knows comedy very well because of Parks and Rec. He was freaking hilarious. For the people that have seen it, the stuff he was always talking about is sore nipples. I know people who haven't seen it are like, what the fuck kind of Disney MC movie is this? But it's funny. The ouch my nipples part just floored me. I'll say this. One thing that this had, I'll say, over the first film was the villain. A little bit of a spoiler here. Everybody knows from the film that Kurt Russell was in it. They already let it leak. Back in the trailers when they first started coming out, that this is going to be Star-Lord's father. Later on, we found out that he's playing Ego, the living planet, basically. And at first, I'm used to the comic book Ego, which is literally a living planet, a planet with a face on it. And they went a different route with it, but it works. And yeah, we still get one shot with the face on the planet, so that was cool. Kurt Russell, it's Kurt fucking Russell. Of course he was going to be one of the best parts of the movie, and he really was. He was awesome. And yes, little spoiler, he kind of does turn into the villain of this film. And what I was getting to is that's the one thing I think Volume 2 has over Part 1 is, Ronan was cool in the first one, but come on. He's another disposable villain. I know people talk about it all the time, how the one thing Marvel films, they're great, they're fantastic, their box office successes, albeit from one or two films. Let's be honest, their villains are pretty fucking weak. They're not really fleshed out. You just don't care. At least I don't. And I always felt that way about Ronan. It's a great film, but Ronan is kind of just there to look angry and that's about it. Kurt Russell, they did a bit more with him, and you actually saw the evolution of him becoming a villain. and I really dug that. One thing people have been saying, and I can kind of agree with it, because my wife and I do have the soundtrack, because I love the first film soundtrack. The second soundtrack I really like, but a lot of people have been saying that, you know, the first soundtrack, it was like hit after hit after hit, like songs I grew up with. I knew the lyrics to every one. Not so much with the second one, but it's alright. You know, it's a decent soundtrack. By far away, one of the best things about Volume 2 was the Yondu storyline, the character played by Michael Rooker. I'm sure by now, if you've seen it or you haven't, you've heard, "I'm Mary Poppins, y'all." Fucking hilarious. I won't spoil how that scene plays out, because it's funny. There's been so many memes with, you know, Michael Rooker's Yondu having the Mary Poppins hat and stuff like that. They're fucking funny. I even saw a picture online where it was Michael Rooker in an old bookshop holding up a copy of Mary Poppins right next to his head. So he's in on it. Yondu, I won't spoil a lot about his storyline, but it definitely makes for one of the best aspects of the sequel. In many ways, like, it is like Star-Lord's story, but in many ways, Volume 2 is Yondu's story, and I really like that. So, like I said, I know this review's late. I mean, it came out over a month ago. It is a runaway success that everybody thought it would be, because everybody was ready for more Guardians of the Galaxy. We were ready for more in 2014 when the first one came out. And at the end of the day, James Gunn, writer-director, did not disappoint. It's a fun ride, a fun film. I can't wait to watch it again and dive a little bit deeper into it. It's just a fun time at the movies. Not as good as part one, but, you know, as the MCU rolls on, it's a good one to, you know, keep us at bay until Spidey and Thor Ragnarok come out at the end of this year. We're getting a lot of Marvel stuff this year. They broke the mold this year. Usually they got on the schedule where you got 2 movies a year. Now it looks like we're going to get 3. So who wins? I guess we all do. Anyway, Deviant D, Let's End Entertainment. Peace.